Hello and welcome back to our short film show, the show that questions the writing and filmmaking of short films that I find interesting. This week, however, we won't be in our studio. We'll instead be here, in the Zoom universe. This week, we'll be watching a psychological thriller that will make you question, who is really who? We'll be having a guest appearance with director and co-writer Jenny Anastasoff. Now, without further ado, please enjoy Sui Generis.
Hey, honey, we're running late. I'm taking Lucy to school.
Bye, Mommy.
Have a good day, okay?
What's your emergency?
Help me. I've been abducted.
Okay, ma'am. Do you know where you are?
No, I don't know.
It's okay, ma'am. I'm tracing this call. What's your name?
Rose Grady.
Rose, are you someplace safe? Are you alone?
No, I don't know. I'm hiding near the bed. I think I'm alone. There were people here before, but they left.
Okay, we've logged your address. I'm going to stay on the line with you until officers arrive. I need you to stay calm, Rose. A squad car is on its way.
Try the tea. I bring it from home. It's not the Lipton's bullshit they have in the squad room.
No, thank you. Can I go home now?
And where is home?
I told you several times, Detective Gruber, 233 West 123rd Street, apartment 5C.
How long have you lived there?
New York City? A few years. Why?
And when was the last time you remember being there?
Last night when I went to bed. Why do you keep asking me that?
Officers found your driver's license at the house you called from. That's you, Emily Finney, unless you have a twin. It's legit. BMV confirms. Running your prints was a good idea. A daycare in Augusta licensed you several years ago. Photos, prints.
No. Call my work, call the lab. What did my boss say?
Columbia Medical Center, right? Their human resources department doesn't have a Rose Grady on file.
I don't understand. Did you...
So, listen, Emily, we've called your husband.
No. I'm not married, no.
Well, the good news, Mrs. Finney.
Don't call me that.
Yes. I'm sorry. The good news is the test came back negative. No tumors, no evidence of concussion, no head trauma. From a medical standpoint, you're an extremely healthy woman.
Thank heavens.
I go now. Enough testing. I'm exhausted. How long have we been here?
So, Dr. Pascal, what's causing these outbursts, this amnesia? She's been taking her meds.
I don't have amnesia.
Oh, it's hard to say. True retrograde amnesia is uncommon. Dissociative identity disorder, formerly known as multiple personality disorder, is an extremely controversial diagnosis.
What? Disorders? That's what this is about? I am a phlebotomist. I work in a lab with blood, not in a daycare. If this, all of this, if this is a delusion, how could I know about the basilic vein? How could I know about white blood counts and capillaries? How?
Emily's always been fascinated by blood. She has the rarest blood type. Practically 1 in a million, right?
How do you know that?
Honey, you had to bank enough of it before Lucy was born. Don't you remember?
That girl is not my daughter. I have never had a baby. What?
Mrs. Emily, my colleague delivered your daughter by cesarean. I can state unequivocally that you have had a child.
No.
Listen, I can call in sick. I hate the thought of leaving you alone like this. We'll keep Lucy home too.
Mommy?
You guys should go. I'll be fine.
You're not gonna call the police again, are you? Call me instead. I'll refill your prescriptions too.
I love you, Mommy.
Check again. That can't be right. I'm Jack Grady's niece. That doesn't ring a bell? Rose Grady. Rose as in the flower, R-O-S-E. Somebody in the phlebotomy lab. My name is Rose Grady. I've worked there for 2 years. Somebody has to be available for me to talk to. Can you please put me through to the lab? Yes, I'll hold.
Time to get ready for school, Lucy.
First, you read to me.
You're too old for this.
But it's my favorite.
All right, then. The girl in red will soon be here, her cleaver sharp and true. Too late to hide, it won't be long. She'll make mincemeat out of you.
Again.
The girl in red will soon be here, her cleaver sharp and true. Too late to hide, it won't be long. She'll make mincemeat out of you. Come on, Lucy, let's get you some clothes.
Daddy!
Come on, young lady, you're gonna be late for school.
Feel better, Mommy?
She's on task. We should be on time today. For once. Look, Emily, you don't have to pretend everything's okay, but we gotta figure this out. Together. Taking care of Lucy has to be our #1 priority. The girl needs her mother. You're gonna have to step up.
Hello?
Hello? Rose? Rose, is that you?
This is Rose. I am Rose.
Rose, it's Dad.
Dad! I can't believe it, Dad.
It won't be long. Everything's going to be fine.
You stupid woman. What did you do that for? He was useful. He's no good to us now.
You are not my daughter.
Oh, but I am. Born of your blood. Your rare and precious blood. I can still remember your milk. Sweet like this.
What?
We could use you. Your blood is enough like ours. But we have no use for your memories.
What are you?
It's beyond your simple comprehension. I am your daughter. Good morning, this is Lucy Finney. Yes? Yes, thank you. Can you come over right away? We have a mess over here.
They're here. I'm gonna go talk to Mr. and Mrs. Poole, and then you're gonna go home with them. Can you be a big girl and stay here by yourself until I get back?
I am a big girl, Miss Cartwright.
I know.
The girl in red will soon be here, her cleaver sharp and true. Too late to hide, it won't be long, she'll make mincemeat out of you.
Welcome back to our short film show. Today's special guest is the director and co-writer of Sui Generis, which will be airing at the Final Girls Berlin Film Festival in October, as well as the co-host of WMPG's Cinema Hits and Misses, and lover of horror movies that keep you up at night. Please welcome Jenny Anastasoff. Thank you so much for coming here. Thank you so much for being on the show. We're all excited to talk to you about Sui Generis and kind of just want your opinion on like, what is this film? And yeah, tell us about it.
Great. Thank you, Cori. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm just basically representing my team, what the film is about. This woman wakes up and she is in a house she doesn't recognize and has a family she doesn't recognize, and she insists that she is a different person. There's no evidence of her existing in this area. And so we set it in a sort of nebulous time. We wanted it to feel sort of timeless, she has access to the internet. She doesn't have a cell phone. She has a landline, so, and we're not really entirely clear, what year is this? Is this the early aughts? Is this 99? When is this happening? And it's in a fake town in Maine. But it's all basically a big conspiracy. And she has been robbed of her memory and her identity so that she can be, this is where it just starts so silly, but she has compatible blood with this alien race that she can produce their master child that they have been waiting centuries for. So the girl in red, I decided to wear red.
Lovely representation.
Thank you. Yes, has been predicted for many years that she would arrive, and so lo and behold, our protagonist has born this child. Trying to explain how this came to be was so there's this annual showcase here in Portland called Damnation Land, and it started I think in 2009 or 2010, and I'm a filmmaker and actress and lots of other things. I've done just about everything on a set, but I hadn't directed. And it was 2014, and I was talking to one of the producers, and I don't know where I got my gumption from, but I just sort of said, I've never directed. And he was like, well, do you want to? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, well, and gave me some terms, like if you can do this, this, and this, do you think you can build a team? And I was like, I think if I ask people, they'll show up. He's like, okay, you're in, because it's like, that's a really scary proposition, because this would be, you're making a short film and it's going to play at the State Theater for its premiere, which is like the biggest venue in Portland, in front of 1,000 people or something, so it's like, okay, I've never done this exactly in this way, but I believe in myself, and I think, that can happen. And the first few people I reached out to, building a little dream team, they immediately responded, yes, so I was like, oh, it's happening. It's cooking with gas. It was one of the most exciting, things. So that happened in June, and we were done in about 3 months, and then we premiered in October. And so it was very intense for about 3 months. The writing of the script, I reached out to one of the most talented writers in Maine. His name is Greg Talonen. And he was a co-writer on Ragged Isle, it's a web series that was just fantastic. And I think that's how we met. But anyway, I reached out to him and I pitched him a whole bunch of ideas, and I said, let's kitchen sink this. Let's make something scary, or I don't know. And I gave him all these ideas, and I said I wanted to make a transgressive movie, like something that really has like a big shocker at the end or something. And he came back with a rough draft. And I was like, nope, this is too, draw the line, this is too extreme. So it's kind of what we ended up with, but a lot of death at the end. And I was like, nope. And so we kept refashioning it. Did 13 versions of the script to come at where we're at. And it ended up being a 15-minute piece. I got the wonderful Phil Cormier to, he hadn't done a Damnation Land film yet. And everybody said, oh, you can't get Phil. And I was like, oh, I'm getting Phil. And he did it, and he has amazing camera. And so I'm gonna go there and relate that to one of your other questions about choosing the camera angles, because that's all Phil's genius. And my master editor and sound designer, everything, Mark Bartholomew, who did all the technical stuff on my piece.
So is this the part where the pillars were purposely blocking or like separating the two characters?
Yes, but what's so crazy is that those were happy accidents, and that's one of the amazing things about movies, is between the location and their vision, that wasn't something in the script, it just, the words were there, but not those particular setups. So when we got there and we were scouting and walking through the various scenes with Phil, and he was just like, oh, well, look at this is right here, this is natural thing, she could hide here, and then we break the shot. I'm like, oh wow, so it that kind of stuff is so cool when it's been in your head, but it's not quite, like I tried storyboarding, but it didn't look like what we ended up with, and Phil didn't want to really work that way. He was much more, he wanted to be on set and walk around and find the angles and things. So just to speak to yeah, you had asked that great question about how did you choose those various, you had the mediums and the, the extreme close-ups, and those were all, I conveyed emotions to Phil and said, this is what I want, and I want you to do the technical side, because you're going to say, oh, I'm pulling medium up on her, and I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, like, because I'm an actor myself, so I was much more involved in like the actor stuff, and their performances, less so with the imagery, because I just trusted them so much. I was like, this is my first time, this is my first rodeo, and I've got the best, so I know I'm in good hands, and everything I saw just looked, great. So
do you think then the difference in the angles and the difference in the like the close-ups really brought out the actors?
Yes. It's hard to act with an extreme close-up because the camera's right in your face and you've got people all around you, like who are doing the lights and whatever, so that's, having been an actor, I know that that's very unnerving, and having some space is important. And my child actor, she's so good, Alexa. She's just she was a blessing. I had met her as an actor at another table read for a zombie film that never got made, but she just was fantastic at the read, and I thought it's so hard to find child actors who don't have like that weird like adult thing happening. Like she was actually a kid who just has this preternatural intelligence, and ability to take direction, but she looks and behaves like a child,
Right.
So it was great. She was about 10 then, and she took direction like you wouldn't believe. It was so rewarding. Like I said, hey, can you blink right after this line? And like when we're doing the walkthrough, and Cori, she did it like the next take. I was like, oh my God, this kid, I love her. Like I will forever champion her. She was so creepy and she's so good. She moved out to Los Angeles to be an actor. So she's out there now. Yeah. It's like, you go, girl. So, I'll be on Instagram like, oh my God, she just had an audition. I'm like, oh, come on, because it's like, I knew her when she was 10. I just knew it. There's some people that you go to auditions or something and you just say that one right there. They've got whatever it is the camera loves about certain human beings. There's an aura, there's a thing, and she has it. So all my actors, I can just go on and on about actors. I don't know how long you let me talk, but one of the best things about writing your own piece is that you get to write to people that you know. So the doctor, Daniel Noel, he's an accomplished actor, stage and film. He's a personal friend, and I had wanted to work with him again. So it was like, between Greg and I, we were so thrilled to be writing this dialogue for him and just knowing he was going to nail it. And then when he did, when he says about multiple identity disorder, we're just like, oh, like literally, we were on set just like fist pumping, like watching the camera and being like, oh, Daniel just landed that. And every time I watch it, I just have this, I'm so tremendously grateful because, I mean, they didn't need to, like, it's just a little short film, but it's like, he did it, he put his all into it, So, I haven't even talked about Lisa. Lisa, the lead. Oh my God, she is a gift. She is so good. It's like she is bananas good to work with. She's so fun. She's a mom in real life, and she just has that maternal energy, and above and beyond that, she could handle such complex emotions and direction, and she has fantastic eyes. I'm obsessed with actors' eyes because like so much of acting comes through the eyes and we don't even realize that we're doing it. Like as humans, that's how we, so much of it is communication is through the eyes. And I was psyched at the beginning that we could do that, that extreme close up on her eyeballs because she just has these amazing eyes. She was so good and I can't remember exactly what scene it was, but she came to me for some direction on the line, and I literally threw about 6 very complicated emotions at her. I was like, "Well, you're confused, you're this, and she was just kind of like, took it all in, and then she did it, and I was like, "How did she do that?" She's like, there were like all these little fleeting little bits, like you could see, do, 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 and I'm like, "Oh my God, she did it!" So very, very rewarding. To work with that level of talent.
Yeah, they were all so unbelievably talented. It was astonishing to watch. And the ability to play such, I don't want to say creepy roles, but creepy roles, which honestly ties into the music.
So my brother is an avant-garde musician, avant-garde jazz musician, and he does a lot of string instruments. He has a stand-up bass. And he does a lot of really weird, like he'll buy like little toy pianos and make like little ding, 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 ding noises and things like that. And I hadn't worked with him, and I know a lot of siblings work together on films. And I thought this would be a really cool experience. He lives in Brooklyn, for him to come here and, us to like do a family thing, that'd be family bonding. So I asked him to listen to, I think Under the Skin, the science fiction film with Scarlett Johansson.
It's so creepy. Oh my God.
So creepy. I mean, the music to that is astonishing. And I told him, I said, can you listen to that? Like I kind of want something with that tonality and maybe like those, I call it like little spiders walking, and he actually didn't because, he's my brother, and so, you can only direct so far, right? But what he ended up doing, we didn't have the finished piece when he was able to come to Portland and record. So he brought his instruments to Portland and we did a lot of, he saw some unfinished bits and then he had read the script pretty well. So we came up with a bunch of things and then Mark Bartholomew, edited those pieces in. But the rhyme that, the girl in red will soon be here, her cleaver shine. We asked him to write that little melody. So that would be sort of the haunting thing at the beginning and then at the end. And it shows up when she's in frame, the little girl in red. It's almost completely lifted from the film M, and by Fritz Lang from, was it 1931? So it's in German, and so the kids are doing this sort of, they say, just you wait, won't be long, the man in black will soon be here, et cetera, et cetera. So we took that, changed it to the girl in red and set it to music and had it be our sort of creepy nursery rhyme. Because when you think about it, aren't nursery rhymes really creepy and weird?
Yes.
Like some of them are very disturbing. So we thought, what if this secret, alien race had, all these years ago laid this, master plan to create this master child. And this is part of the whole lineage of, a nursery that is actually about their eventual takeover. So that was cool. And so the music was intended to sound alien. and before you even get to the big reveal, they may be just sort of grating on you a little bit, which is interesting because Under the Skin is obviously about an alien, passing for human. So it's kind of weird that they both we both had similar intents with our creepy music. And another thing about the music and the sound was when we're in the house, Mark had put in the sort of low level hum, like all the time. So it kind of sounds like a spaceship. So you only notice it, after you've seen it, and you're like, oh, because it's kind of like, what is that? And you're like, oh, so that's kind of it's one of our little audio cues that.
So just a few
right
Easter eggs are hidden in.
Yes, the Easter eggs about that, and it's corresponding with you. I think I came to the realization that I wish back when this first came out that we had spared everyone the big reveal and had instead told them, is she an alien or something, because then they might have been looking for those and then would have appreciated that a little bit more. I think it would have worked better as a piece rather than having to rewatch it and go, oh, that's that. So I think I'm going to work on my promotional materials. So thank you for that. And I want to speak to locations too, because that's one of the hardest things to do when you're, low budget short film, is trying to find good locations, because you don't have a lot of money to spend, and it's going to be a really short, intense shoot. And we lucked out. I have some friends who have this amazing older house. So the house that we filmed in, that's the house, had an original sort of existing structure, but then they had built an addition to it. And we were only going to do interiors. And then I was outside with the DP Phil, and he's like, look at their addition. Doesn't it kind of look like a spaceship? And I was like, what? And I just stood there and I turned around and I looked at it and I was like, holy crap. And he's just like, I'm going to shoot right here. And then we just have one shot, where we kind of see the exterior, and it does have sort of like a spaceshipy kind of, like modern structure vibe.
Yeah, I know the exact shot that you're talking about. It goes straight across too.
Yeah, and that was all just a happy accident. And so the friends who had that place, their bedroom, they have a star above the bed. So she's an alien. We didn't even need to set dress. It was like, oh my God, the star is there. This is great. So my friends aren't aliens as far as I know.
Okay, that's good to know. That's important. Did you test their blood just to make sure?
No, I did not. I didn't jam them in the neck and have clear stuff come out. And I was wondering, were you going to ask me what that stuff was?
I'm actually very curious to know.
It's so I have really thick, crazy hair, and it's hair product. It's like that it's not gel, but like serum that you can put on your hair to make it shiny. And so I just mixed up a couple different kinds. And just kept playing with it, and it was like, it looks really sticky and gross. So it was so much fun doing that scene. And then afterwards with Mark, we had to do the sound effects for it, and so it was like trying to find a sound effect for stabbing an alien in the neck, and it's like how about pumpkin squishing, it was like no, that's not quite it, and just little noises and stuff.
What did the sound effect end with? What was it?
I think it was a melon. I think we were stabbing a melon. So sorry, Paul. That's his head that was being stabbed. It was a melon, something like that. Yeah. He was so good, and I have to say to his performance, so he played Michael, the dad, who's very stilted and handsome, and says by heavens, and really sort of seems a little goofy. And a couple people had commented on his performance to me oh, and I was like, he's doing that deliberately. He's an alien who doesn't know how to act human, so he knocked it out of the park, but I think they didn't get it, that they're like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, it's not bad acting, it's the alien doesn't know how humans are, so he's, whoa, I'll take care of you, honey, because he's watched too many movies, and this is how he
the short film has so many different layers to it. We touched base on like the lows
Yes.
and highs. Would you be able to explain that?
Yes, I really like films and TV that can handle both high and a low perspective. So like lowest common denominator is, sort of beefcake and sexy time and violence, thrilling action things. And higher is, the societal themes. You're trying to say something, or you're putting in little Easter eggs, little hints that this ties to a different universe or relates to other films. So you're trying to make the person think a lot more and analysis. And I like films that can do both. And because you're increasing the audience that way. And all films need an audience. You make a movie so that people will see it and appreciate it, or if they didn't like it, they could at least appreciate it. They might not like the genre, but they can say, hey, that was technically well made. I don't care for blah blah blah. I don't care for romantic comedies, but that performance was great. So the high and the low. And in ours, I definitely was trying to go for that too. We have a lot of big themes. We kitchen sinked a lot. We threw a lot of things at the viewer, and we threw a lot of misdirections at them too, because we were just kind of having fun. It's like, hey, we've got an opportunity. And so one of the themes was, okay, is this an evil twin story? Is this the evil kid story? Is this an alien story? Which one of these is it? And at the beginning, it says that in the credits, it says Gemini Falls, Maine. So that was our homage to Twins and also Twin Peaks, Gemini Falls.
Of course.
Right. Yeah, we geeked out. So that's when I say when we kitchen sinked it. We threw a lot of things at it. All the characters' names have meanings. Miss Cartwright at the end. Veronica Cartwright was in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Finney wrote Invasion of the Body Snatchers. So Dr. Pascow was from Pet Sematary, which was a role that Daniel tried out for and didn't get. He almost had it, so we named him, the character that he didn't get to be in Pet Sematary. So that was kind of fun. So little geeky things you can do for yourself.
Oh, that's fantastic, though.
When you make your own movies.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm glad you appreciate it. It's so fun to have people like it. Yeah.
See, I kind of want a part 2 to this. I want to see what happens next.
Well, what's funny is all these years we were after the about a year later, we were talking about it because she's still acting, the little girl, and it's like well, what's gonna happen to her? And that would be kind of cool because now she's gorgeous, she's like 17, like to have her be an adult, and how has the world changed now that she is in it and can do what she needs to do? Like she's so ruthless, at the end, just kind of like, meh, like, I'm here, like, all right, I don't need your babying anymore, or I don't need Pops, like, he was good to us, but we don't need him now, she doesn't even care. And that's the other thing too, is we thought it was so funny, is like, he's like this big strong alien guy, and like it only takes like one jam to the neck and he's down, like, well, they're not very hardy. I have a little piece of advice to any filmmakers out there: don't name your film a Latin term that you yourself cannot say. So that is what happened with this. And I have to always look at my cheat sheet. Sui Generis. I mean, I had always read this term and I knew what it meant, and it means one of a kind, unique, etc. It's kind of something that sort of happens just of its own. It's almost seems like it has no origin story. So it just seemed like a perfect fit for
it's the daughter,
girl,
yeah,
exactly the little girl in red. She has finally, she's extraordinarily unique, and the mom is also unique too, because she's pretty much one in a million, who can who
Yeah.
could, unknowingly carry this child. And the dedication at the end of the film is for one of my best friends. We lost his brother. He took his own life. And it was, when the film was going to be premiering, it was a year to the day. And I said, oh, we got to dedicate this to Jason, because my baby brother is named Jason, and my friend's baby brother is named Jason. So baby brother, I know, it's so funny. He's not a baby. He made the music to the film, when they're younger than you, they're always your baby. And in terms of being one of a kind, he was so gentle and cool and just such a nice, wonderful human being. And when we lost him, I vowed to be a better person. And I said, I'm going to challenge myself, and I'm going to live as hard as I can after we lost him. And that was, about 6 months later when, I stepped up and said, hey, yeah, I want to direct. And I never, found that energy before. And so I wanted to thank him in whatever way, his spirit is wherever. But so that was where the dedication came from, that when you lose someone to suicide, it really makes you think a lot of things. And I think it's Suicide Prevention Week, or there's a big walk this weekend happening in Portland about that. So that's, we're losing a lot of people, and you got to reach out, and it's a hard thing. So yeah, I love him. I miss him. And I think he would have been proud.
I think so too. It was such a great film, and
thank you.
Definitely the way that it happened, and then giving you that push that was important, and
yeah. Thanks, Cori. Yeah, it sort of bookended. It was weird to have it premiere on that very terrible date, but let's take that date and change it to something, good instead, a birth of sorts.
Exactly.
Like you birth a film, and it's your baby, and that's the other thing too that I think I said to you. It's like, this is my first film, and so far my only film. Oh, so for the crew and for supporters, we made hats. And it says Dark Farm Films and has an S. So I've been joking this whole time. Do you need to get a Sharpie and take out the S and it's just Dark Farm Films, singular? No, people, we have hats. We'll have to make another movie soon.
The hats make it official, though.
These things are amazing swag. My friends still take selfies with them and send them to me. And I'm like, and people will ask, like, what's that? So hats are a good idea. Take that tip too.
I just recently got a mug with my show on it. So I'm rocking some merch right now.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to get one too. Be like, I was on our short film show.
I'm loving this conversation, but we are running out of time. This is fantastic, and I cannot express how I loved your short film, and it was great to watch both the shots that were taken, the music, the acting, all of it was done so well. And truly thank you for coming on here and talking to me about it.
Great. It's a pleasure. I love talking movies, and I'm looking forward to watching your show, and it's I wish you all good things and courage and confidence moving forward. You got this.
Thank you. For the viewers at home, thank you for showing up. Come back in 2 weeks when we watch our next short film, and have a good night. All right, thank you.